Appreciate Chris, and thank you guys for being here. Just got to start out by thanking the AVCA for their effort to have this First Serve Showcase event, which is started, before the football season, to give volleyball a weekend to showcase what we're doing and the top teams. And we've been trying actually to get the NCAA to get our season to start a week earlier, so we have multiple weeks prior to football. Unsuccessful to this point, but I think it's a really good event to showcase the level our sport is, where it is now and where it can be. And obviously the number of really good teams in the top 10 of the AVCA playing the first few days of the season is a great way to kick it off. So we're excited to be part of it, and as well as the other teams. And it's a neutral site on Friday, so we'll play it like that.
Questions?
You feel like it will feel like a neutral site on Friday?
I'd say it is, but no, it will not. To their credit, Wisconsin has an incredible fan base, and they'll be, certainly helping fill the Fiserv Arena with some Reds. So I think we'll be against the wall a little bit that way.
I just spent my last summer actually up in Wisconsin. I spent a lot of time in Madison and other cities. I will say there's a lot of fire there, as you just said, and we'll bring it to Milwaukee. Is it kind of almost exciting that you will have to face a tough team, a tough crowd, and really gets the team focused and energized heading into such a tough challenge in the first game?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've had some great crowds at our exhibitions here in Lexington against Ohio and Dayton. That will be a completely different feel and environment, but necessary. It really is necessary for this particular version of Kentucky volleyball to see what we're all about. And it's a great event on national TV in front of a great knowledgeable fan base that really understands volleyball. So not only be loud, but they know the game really well. So it's going to be great.
Craig, when you first got here, I don't know that Kentucky would have been invited to play in an event like this, and now it's almost a foregone conclusion that you should be involved in an event like this. What does that mean to you, big picture of the program?
It means a lot. I guess, I'm a little bit tweaked in a way that I always felt like we should anyway. I just always had a bigger, maybe a bigger view of myself and the program and the people in our program, that we deserve things maybe ahead of when we do. And I think you always have to fight for, if you don't fight for yourself, who is going to fight for yourself? And, but, you're right. We have to earn those things, and we have to earn the credibility and respect that, we've gotten. And, I think, a long time ago, it's a lot easier to get to the mountaintop than stay on the mountaintop. And, it's been difficult to stay where we are, and will be more challenging to go forward because bigger targets on our back. But it's a great place to be.
Craig,
the view is better.
Do you ever turn down an invitation to play anywhere against anybody? You just always say yes and just figure it works out?
I think I've said no before. Yes. I mean, there's certain things you can't do just because number of weeks on the road and things like that. So I think there are some situations that we've said yes. But at the same time, you have to know where you are as a program and what you can handle. And this maybe this is too much to chew. I don't know. And maybe I've thought that of several years, and the results will probably be different than what they were in the past. But maybe they're better. I mean, who knows? But you don't really know until you do it. And I don't want it to be any other way, I guess. We aren't always responsible for some of them, Larry, so there's some of them we're required to play in.
You saw Wisconsin in the Final Four last year. Different personnel on both sides of the net, but what can you take from that experience of playing against them and their system?
They just expect to be good like us. They expect to win points. They expect to compete with the best teams in the country. Their players will not be fearful, of the Kentucky volleyball program. They will be, relishing the chance to play against us. So you have to bring a level of intensity every single time the whistle blows against teams like that. And, our new players don't know what that feels like yet, so they will get a good dose of that on Friday night. And, it's cool to see your friends across the court and, people you grew up in the game with. And, Kelly Sheffield and John Shondell have been part of this game as long as I have. And, so it's pretty rewarding to see a lot of hard work pay off.
Following up on that, that next day on Saturday, you had the University of Pitt. That was one of the two teams that was able to stifle you and the rest of the Wildcats during the regular season. And they're gritty, they play very rough, they play aggressive. What are you seeing from them potentially this year, as well as your team, to get that win and another close one, I would have to guess?
I mean, some people might argue that Pittsburgh's the preseason best team in the country. I mean, the firepower that they have and the experience they have, the setter that they have that came from Penn State who won a national championship. There's not going to be a team more talented and more ready to compete at the highest level than Pittsburgh. So again, talent will be one thing in that match, and all the other things will play a big part as well. But a lot of fireworks this weekend, so it'll be cool.
You mentioned the newcomers not yet having that experience of the fireworks. What gives you confidence in them? What have you seen to know, hey, you are ready for this?
I think that they're, I don't know exactly 100% yet, but I think that the being around other players that want to be great is really good, and typically high achievers like being around other high achievers, and mediocre people like being around mediocre people, and our players chose to be part of higher expectation a program with higher expectations with people in it like that. So I think just knowing how they go about their day, how they go about competing, how they go about preparing their bodies, and how they, go about, frustration, how they go about winning, is really important. But, until they're in the ring, it's really hard to tell them, hey, this is what you're going to feel on Friday night. But we've recruited people, and they've chosen to be part of, a program like this.
Craig, do you have a team leader, or maybe a team leader on the court, or a team leader that's different that's off the court, or is it just a whole bunch of them?
Well, to be honest, Larry, in our program, we like to say that leadership has no age. I think there's a lot of really good leaders that aren't necessarily seniors, and so we encourage all of our players, freshmen or seniors, to, if they have leadership opportunities, to take advantage of them. But fortunately, this team has a group of 4 seniors like Molly Tuzzo, Brooklyn, Lizzie, Molly Brezowitz, that are elite people, elite character integrity kids that know the right way, and usually, when they do the right thing because it's the right thing. And I think what 4 people are better to follow than those guys. So we're fortunate.
Heading into those seniors, starting with Brooklyn DeLay, she played obviously most of last season with that torn meniscus, still ended up finishing as one of the best outside hitters in all of volleyball last season alongside Eva Hudson. What can you expect? How high can that ceiling potentially go this year with her healthy, coming back even stronger and faster this season?
It's very rare for an outside hitter to be multiple first-team All-American and having, still have plenty of time left in her career. So what she's achieved is remarkable to this point. But I, just talked to her an hour ago, and the practice she had on Sunday and Monday were as good a version of Brooklyn DeLay I've seen, since she's been here. So the motivation you see, the drive, the intensity, the expectation for herself is still burning, all the time, and that's all you can ask for of an athlete and a leader that's accomplished so much. So, really impressed with what she's been doing so far on and off the court.
Fred, Cassie comes back for another year, and I know it's up there to develop that relationship with each hitter in the lineup. But in general, in terms of her game, what are you looking for when it comes to her developing and taking that next step?
Well, she's put a lot of hard work in. I think, last time I was with you guys, just shared how much time and energy Cassie put in this summer to prepare herself for the year. The next step as you get, in the setting position as you move up in years is, are you making the same quality sets when the ball's in a medium situation versus a perfect situation? Are you bettering the ball when it's a really tough out-of-system play and giving your hitter a killable ball? So those are the things, and can you still set 2 or 3 players on a ball that's moving away from the target? And those are the things that she'll continue to make jumps and improvement, and this will certainly be a good weekend for that, because when the ball's hit as hard as it will be this weekend, the ball's going to be spraying all over the place. So can you get your feet there and allow us to kill it? So those are the moments, I think.
And have you seen enough of what you hope to see from her in practice?
She's playing very well, and you know, she probably wouldn't tell you that. She'd probably tell you there's 3 things that she's not doing well, but she's just making, when people put the work in that she has, you all of a sudden start seeing them making plays they didn't make last year in practice, and it's hard to show that in matches, but in practice, it's like, oh, she would have not made that set last year. She would have not connected in that situation. So, you know, again, she's added those levels to her game.
Is there a freshman or two that's really just kind of stood out to you so far?
I mean, we had a roles meeting the other day, and 2 freshmen that are really knocking on the door to play are Grayson Sailors and Sydney Burley. I mean, their days in practice, they're elite and they're proving themselves, and so those are 2 that are knocking on the door now. The others are on their way and, you know, battling to get to that point. But I would say those are the 2 that have really put themselves in the conversation right now to compete. But you know, certainly have to continue to earn it each and every day.
Is Grayson, because of the position she plays, is that somebody you would really need to maybe continue to excel and be ready for you?
I mean, it's typically a position you don't have as many players as other positions, but she just has a unique way to score. I mean, she can hit the ball in front of the setter. She can attack off 1 foot behind. She can, a bad set, she can turn into something manageable. You know, people talk about, you know, making lemonade out of anything, and she can make quality kills and swings off of situations that other people can't. So I think her IQ of the game is really good.
You mentioned roles meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do that regularly? What is that? Defining the roles?
Yeah, I mean, I think that roles are defined every day of the year and every day of the season. And we typically have a roles meeting at the end of preseason to going into our pre-conference play. And, you know, here's your role right now. Here's where we see you. And, you know, that is constantly evolving and changing. We'll probably have another one before we start conference play. You know, so I think it's important that everyone kind of knows where they stand and what they're aspiring to, because you obviously have starters, you have people that are first off the bench, and you have people aspiring to be that person off the bench or in the game. And so I think it's important that they kind of know where they are, and then we have individual meetings with them to, hey, here are the 3 or 4 things that you really should focus on to either keep your position or give yourself a chance to be in the starting lineup.
Did you learn anything new about your team coming out of those 2 exhibitions, or anything that maybe surprised you that you've used in practice?
Probably just it was cool to see them learn, you know, and get better. You know, I think that they, you know, the other thing is I think I said this after the Ohio match, it was the IQ I think that we have to be organized when we're thrown into a situation that maybe we didn't practice all week. So I think our players have enough experience that, you know, if Friday night we need to make a change in a position, whoever I throw in there will be comfortable going in and at least knowing where they're supposed to be. Then you got to make the play. Then you got to, you know, compete with Wisconsin. So that's encouraging as a coaching staff that, you know, we have a lot of people that understand that, because it's a complicated game and there's 6 rotations out there. There's different ways to line up in each rotation. And so if you have that level of IQ, it helps at least prepare you for the whistle.
Craig, have you had a player from Idaho before, and what is Idaho volleyball like? That's a lot of my comfort zone, to know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of potatoes and there is volleyball too, but you know, Bellamy comes from a really good club program. You know, the club directors have done a heck of a job. They have a huge family of volleyball people, the Bauer family, and they've done a really good job of fostering and growing and developing volleyball in the Boise, Nampa, Idaho area. And to combine that with Bellamy's competitive juice and background of, you know, farming and steers and all that stuff, you got a great athlete and competitor that's ready. So different, but they've been around for a long time. Idaho Crush has been around for a long time.
Okay.
So
Greg, Morgan ready to go?
Morgan is ready to go. Been practicing. We'll practice again today, and assuming all things go, you know, she'll be playing on Friday.
Craig, you were in here the other night when Sydney talked about Molly and described her skills as insane. Fans know about Brooklyn and they know Morgan's coming in, but would you describe the value of somebody like a Molly Tuzzo, both as a leader, to Larry's point, but just the way she keeps rallies alive in her defense and her fearlessness when These
Yeah.
lasers are coming at her face.
Probably get too comfortable in the gym every day, knowing that Molly's there, just assuming she's going to make those plays. I think it's like you guys have been long enough to know when you have a really good point guard in basketball, they never turn the ball over. And so you only really know it when they're gone. It's kind of like a really good libero or setter. You don't realize how good they are until you don't have them anymore. And Molly's one of those players. I mean, we're not going to really know how good she is. We do because of all the accolades she gets, but when she's gone, it's like, oh, that's how good she was, because those 3 balls would have been up today in practice. And but she's just a refreshing kid. She has such a great love and enthusiasm for the game. I mean, she's a cool kid to coach along the way.
Very good. Thanks for being here. We
I have
appreciate
one
it.
more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Heading into the Wisconsin match, SEC Big Ten, the chasm, I think, is closed between the Big Ten and the SEC. Where are we on that, do you think?
Really good question. I guess if you measure by championships, that the SEC has a couple national championships in the last several years, and the Big Ten has 1 or 2. So a lot of good teams in each. I wouldn't have been able to say that a few years ago. So, are we better? They better? I don't know, but I know we're both really good. So it's a pretty cool spot to be in.
Just really quickly, I wanted to ask, there's been a lot of rumors and stuff circulating with Eva Hudson potentially having her 5th-year eligibility. Is there any chance we could potentially be seeing her return to the Wildcats at any point during this season?
Yeah, what would someone post that I didn't say no, but I didn't say yes either? I mean, that's where I am today. I mean, is there a path? It's about this big, So, it's so much is out of our control, and so much has to do with our team too, and dynamics, and it's unfortunate that players like Eva are in a situation like this, because if that decision was made in December, there'd be nothing for people to decide. If that decision was made in January, she wouldn't have signed a pro contract. She would have, but we have our team right now. We're operating with the 17 players we have on our team, and we're excited about that. And Eva, loves our Wildcats and wants us to do really well. And so I don't know a whole lot, to be honest with you, because nothing's been decided.